Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Business Africa. I'm Ahmelnga. In today's lineup, the exploitation of the largest tin deposit in the world at the Alphamin mine are set to begin in DR Congo's North Kivu region. In Ghana, the reorganization of the banking sector is still making the headlines. 2 new banks are about to conclude a new merger. And finally, East African countries are considering increasing import duty on finished goods. It's in the middle of the jungle in North Kivu in the Democratic Republic of Congo that Alphamin Mine, a company entirely financed by Canada, succeeded in building a mine to exploit tin, probably the largest on the continent. To protect it against the threat of armed groups, the company has constructed a 32-kilometre road to transport its production. Eric Oteng and our correspondent Lucas Rosenberg have more details.
Deep inside the jungle of North Kivu province in the Democratic Republic of Congo is a new mine ready to start tin production. Alphamin, a Canadian-funded company, has built one of the largest tin mines in Africa. The mining site is located in BCA, about 60 kilometers from the nearest town of Walikale. Alphamin's presence in BCA has employed over 1,000 people, with 800 of them being unskilled former artisanal miners. Our country is blessed with mineral resources. So in North Kivu province, we mine tin. We cannot leave the mineral buried in the ground without developing our province. We have employed many artisanal miners due to our presence in the area to improve their living standards. Tin ore in the area is of high quality. Full-scale commercial tin extraction will start in the first quarter of 2019. The company expects to produce 10,000 tons of tin per annum. Alphamin has undertaken infrastructure projects like road rehabilitations in the region. The company has constructed the road in the community to help farmers to evacuate their produce. The road is a top priority for the company, not only to evacuate the equipment, but also during the export of our minerals. The BCA mine is one of the largest and most significant tin deposits in the world.
To save Ghana's banking industry, the country's central bank created the United Bank of Ghana and the Consolidated Bank of Ghana Limited by merging 5 insolvent banks whose licenses had been revoked. The move was taken as part of increased efforts to limit defaults in a sector plagued by poor governance and unproductive lending, as stated by the central bank. In addition to this, 2 new banks are about to enter a new merger. Ignatius Anner gives us more details.
A tense atmosphere in the banking industry in Ghana. In July, Ghana's central bank merged 5 banks and named it as the Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited. The banks include Beige Bank, Construction Bank, the Royal Bank, Unibank and Sovereign Bank, all local-owned banks. Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, said some of these banks presented fake documents making it seem they could meet the new capital requirement of 400 million Ghana cedis, or about $90 million. Local media reported in the heat of the merger that customers of these 5 banks were stranded as many turned up to transact businesses completely unaware of the development. Reactions of analysts on this development have been mixed. In 2017, the Bank of Ghana announced a takeover of 2 indigenous banks, UT Bank and Capital Banks, by the state-owned GCB Bank. Meanwhile, 2 other local banks, Sahel Sahara Bank and Omni Bank, have sealed talks for a merger following approval by the central bank. There are 31 licensed banks in Ghana, according to the Bank of Ghana website.
We talk about this new merger with the banking consultant Nana Otu Ashimpong, joining us from the United Kingdom. Thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure.
In 2017, the central bank, in which the government holds 51% of shares, took over the activities of two major banks, the Commercial Unity Bank and the Capital Bank, for failing to achieve the objectives of the banking sector. And last month, 5 other banks were closed to achieve a merger. How did all this happen, and what impact has it had on the banking sector in Ghana?
Okay, the impact is positive because if you go back to 2015, when the asset quality review was undertaken, some 6 to 7 banks were identified as being on life support machines. Now, life support is supposed to be temporary, where they had liquidity challenges and the banker of last resort had to come in to assist them. Now, 3 or 4 years later, it is found that their life support, which is supposed to be temporary emergency, was becoming almost permanent. So they had no choice but to take action. So it started with the 2 banks being put into purchase and assumption, with GCB taking that position. Then the others were still being looked at on the life support. Then 1st August, we realized that, as we say in our African parlance, if the child will die, whatever you do, they will die. So 5 more had to be rescued by getting their licenses revoked and a new one formed to consolidate the operations of the 5.
And do you agree with critics that this may affect the dynamism and promotion of local enterprises, who also add that the central bank should have been more lenient?
Not at all. These problems have been persistent. It's not a one-off type of thing. And so with those things going on, the primary objective of the regulator is the interest of the depositor. And therefore, they have to take action to ensure that the depositors are safe. And we are glad to say for all the 7 banks, not a single depositor has lost a penny. Everybody has had full access to all their savings that they had at these 5 banks. So it must be good for the industry, because now, after the cleanup, if we end up with fewer banks but strong banks, then it will be good not only for the economy, but it will be good for the consumers as well. And that is where we are leading to now. We started with 36. Presently, we have 30. So hopefully, when the recapitalization is completed, we may have a few less than the 30 that we presently have.
31 commercial banks are registered by the central bank in a market that we know is very open. A number far too high for some who still believe that this decision to merge by the central bank would rather promote competitiveness to better serve the population.
Now, as to whether the number is too small or too large, it depends on the economic policy that the country is pursuing. Now, Ghana has decided that we would pursue the free market economy. And in a free market economy, intervention comes in when there is an externality. And so far, we haven't seen any reason why the government or the regulator should say we only need 5 banks or we need 100 banks. It's a free market. You set the parameters, and those who meet are therefore, welcome to enter. If they are not able to play ball, then you show them the exit way, which is what has been going on. So as to how many, the optimal number of banks for Ghana's economy, there is no mathematical formula for that. So if, as free marketers, we believe that the rules that we have set, the bar is too high, then we lower it. If it's too low, we raise it.
Thank you very much, Nana Oto Ashimpong, for your insights and willingness to share with us your views on the development of the banking sector in Ghana.
You are welcome.
In order to protect local industries, East African countries could increase their import duties on finished products. This is coming up after the break.